Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm talking about a corner of the internet that I had to bring a professional in, Mr. Shama Mrema. Welcome to the channel.
Jonathan, thanks so much for having me on your podcast. This is...
Hey, wait a second.
I always say there are not enough white guys with beards and podcasts. I'm always stressing. I'm raising awareness.
Here's what I wanted to make sure was understood, right? Like, while it may seem like a podcast, while we may have microphones in front of us, there's two things happening here that I think exempt me from this. One being there will be editing. The second being it's not just a white guy right now. No, I feel,
Okay.
I get the pass, right?
I need you to know, I will talk about DMT at some point in time in this podcast.
Oh.
You're not making a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a podcast. Okay.
Okay. So is this like a Theo Von Cat Williams episode for me now? Or it's like...
Yeah. Good luck.
I have you here because I have been seeing somebody online, and then you I'm not going to say waged war against them, but you definitely you brought awareness. Is that a better phrase?
I keep stumbling into side quests. Last year, it was Maverick City Music for a bit. Earlier this year, I put up on Instagram on a story, I just said, hey, I'm growing my hair out so I can replace Michael Tate when the time comes. And then, lo and behold, the next day the time came because he announced that he was stepping down.
He was like, I've been waiting,
I leaned into that bit for about a week and a half, and then I stepped down from being the lead singer of the Newsboys.
Okay. Like the other four. So it's like...
Oh, just like I didn't do anything new, huh?
Yeah. I can't wait to start a band and get Adam Agee to take over as lead singer for that one too, I
heard legally you'll have to. They call it getting aged. That's what they say. My manager has told me, and I quote, the Newsboys have enough money and they will sue. If the Newsboys sued me, I wouldn't shut up about it. I'd get the biggest Newsboys tattoo.
If I got sued by the Newsboys, I would be like, I don't have to worry about what my next deep dive video is. That's how comfortable I would get. It's just like I would start taking notes and outlining immediately, and then pull my phone out and be like, guys, Newsboys just sued me. So we're gonna get into the person that you've been allegedly attacking.
Yes,
that's what I'll say. Over the past year, you turned a corner. There was like a switch went off with you, and we haven't really talked about it, where I think you all of a sudden were like, hey, what if I made everyone mad?
I credit Chase Bridges. I would say Chase is almost like my brand manager. He a while back, I was just kind of venting. I was like, hey man, everybody is kind of funny online. CCM artists, pastors, everybody like in the Christian space, everybody is kind of funny. And Chase was like, well, you've got to go harder. You need to say things that nobody else would say.
You need to scare everyone is what he was saying.
I'm revealing too much about how the sausage is made right now. I also apologize for using that sausage allegory. And so, I was just started making a bunch of videos and stuff. I feel like I cared less, and the less I cared, the funnier I got if you're into graphs.
Yeah, I've been wondering when you were going to start the graph content, honestly. Not graphic. Hear me.
No, just the graph.
Yeah. Where's the joke that the Christian comedian thinks but doesn't say out loud?
Right.
That's what you've been doing.
I thought it was going to make me more infamous. It's almost made me more famous.
Last night, I posted just on my story. Now, you don't have a copyright on white text on a black background.
No.
Okay? I post a story that's like, hey, I went for a run and I didn't die. Immediately, I got a response that someone was like, hey, what's with the Shama style story? And I was like, what? Okay. I just typed a sentence on my story and suddenly I'm a thief?
I got the monopoly. Okay, I took that from Michael Che. Also, a white background, way too bright. No offense.
I went with like a gray. I was like, I'm not going all the way black. Like, I got to go with a soft gray.
People were like, what is going on?
So speaking of what's going on, though, you and I are both generally aware of who the person Rick Pino is,
yes.
Right?
If you're listening and you have no idea who Rick Pino is, consider yourself blessed.
I'm about to ruin your day. I've already brought up Rick Pino once on this channel when we talked about his You Spin Me Right Round Jesus parody that he played.
Kick your shoes off in this place. And while you're down there, grab a couple socks. You spin me right round, Jesus, right round, like a record, Jesus.
And ironically, the man who did that song started a business called Get Wisdom. So that's the name of it.
It's called Get Wisdom?
broad sweeping LLC. There are 5 companies under that LLC doing business as. This guy's been on my mind for a while. That same guy, he's doing business coaching, but not only is he doing business coaching, he's doing coaching on how to make courses for coaching.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It is pyramid shape.
It's definitely more of like a Mayan pyramid. You know, it's not like a perfect point.
But he's definitely at the top.
Rick is a former worship leader, still doing some stuff with music, but he like went full-fledged finance business bro coach.
But before that, he did worship courses. I can teach you how to worship for a couple $100.
I think it was $2,000 is what the price was on that. For the small price of allegedly $2,000, you could learn how to worship Jesus from Rick Pino and how to have a heart like David. That was like a thing he said a lot with it.
That's my favorite part about Christian entrepreneurs. It's 99% entrepreneurship, but then they go, Bible! Then they flex seal slap. Heart of David!
Yeah. I got to use the word storehouse somewhere in here. But Rick Pino wants all of those businesses to learn how to grow from him.
So what I've been doing is every time I see some Rick content that I enjoy, I share it. And I go, man, look, my favorite worship leader is dropping wisdom. If you're paying attention, I'm so praising him that it's insulting. I haven't said anything negative, but I've been so positive that you're like, I think he went full circle. I think this is just extremely negative against.
No one's this happy to be posting someone's stuff. If I started sharing every post that you did and being like, Shama's the best, I love him so much,
I would block you. And that's what happened. Every day I would drop a daily dose of Rick Pino on my story just for, whoever saw it. And eventually he blocked me. I put up on my story that, if I was him and the VeggieTales remix guy was cyberbullying me, I would block him too.
You've gone face first into a swimming pool of Rick Pino, right? I don't even like how I said it, but we're going to leave it. You've now experienced his content. Some might even speculate that you're considered an expert in Rick Pino's world. I have a special game for you.
Uh-oh.
Rick Pino, or Rick P. No, that's not him. Jonathan wrote that.
Very interested to see how you do the graphic for the other side.
I'm going to read you a tweet, and you need to tell me whether, hey, that's Rick Pino, or this is the full answer you have to give is Rick P. No, that's actually something Jonathan wrote.
Hit me.
And ROI doesn't just mean a return on investment. It means a return on inspiration. Let your success fuel you to greater things.
Rick P. No, actually Jonathan wrote that.
Man, you nailed it. I wrote that. Now,
okay.
How should I feel that I wrote that?
Maybe you're turning into Rick Pino too.
A Rick P number 2. But
return on inspiration is crazy.
I'm going to tell you, Shama, that I thought very little about every single one of the fake tweets that I wrote.
Everybody's all about, we've got to put out content, and nobody has stopped to ask what kind. Now, today is the day to wake up and to do the thing that you always been putting off to do since every day you woke up till today.
I just love to go to each of his tweets and see that 1 or 2 people liked them. That gives me more joy than anything else in my life. So here's a tweet for you. You tell me whether it's Rick Pino or Rick Pino. No, that's actually Jonathan. Only the best players on the team get opposed the most. If you feel like all hell is coming against you, congratulations, you're an A player.
That's Rick Pino.
Yeah, that one's a little, I was like, give me.
Let's dissect it. What is the back half of, if you're seeing you're getting opposed the most?
Congratulations, you're an A player.
What sport is he even talking about?
An A player, I don't know, just the game of business. That's what I'm guessing.
I feel like under the umbrella of business, you could use just about any analogy and people legally have to agree.
That's why it was so easy, again, for me to just create fake Rick Pino tweets. I feel like I'm going to make a new one right now, and I'm not even going to tell you, okay? You ready? All right, here we go. Only a few will understand this, but I can't afford it simply means this isn't important enough for me to look at right now.
That's Rick Pino.
You're good. You're an expert.
There is something about I gotta guilt trip people into who didn't spend money on me. I'm the way, the truth, and the life of financial freedom. And nobody comes to the Father except through Dave Ramsey. Only a few get it. If we boil it all down, I think the main philosophy that just comes from third grade girls at the playground. If you went over to Ashley's sleepover, you would understand.
So you tell me whether you think this is Rick Pino saying this, okay? 2025 is going to be your first $1 million year. Only future millionaires are going to share this post.
Rick Pino.
You're nailing it. I'm trying to get in your head. I'm shuffling these things around.
Wait.
Not only is it a Rick Pino quote, it's a Rick Pino reel.
This is the CEO and founder of Get Wisdom LLC. I just can't imagine any other business owner talking about their business like this. The whole MLM, digital products, digital entrepreneurs created their own language. That's why I was like, I'm done. You can't talk like that anymore.
God's storehouse is bigger than we can ever dream. You harvest, store it safely, and watch him do his thing.
Rick Pino, no, actually Jonathan wrote that.
No! Dude, how are you doing this? It's unbelievable. You're on the sweep of a century. We found an ability that we didn't know you had. I'm really trying to get in your head of like, now you're in mine. I think he knows the next one I'm going to read is a Rick Pino.
But I feel like I'm just like, I've got him dialed in to where I'm like, I know the foolishness. What if people just find out, I actually think Shama really likes Rick Pino.
Inches make miles. Run inch by inch, not mile by mile, and you'll see the results that seemed far away shrink.
Rick Pino, no, actually Jonathan wrote.
No, dude.
Jonathan, are you ghostwriting for Rick? Inches, what? I'm like low-key inspired.
This was the first one I wrote, okay? Inches make miles. Run inch by inch, not mile by mile, and you'll see the results that seemed far away shrink.
I think the intention of this video was to villainize a guy. But you know what? Jonathan, you're the real hero here. You're the voice of financial freedom and digital product and e-course sales that we need.
I can't wait for my bank account to find out.
I mean,
it's still not there. Tell you what, I'm only reading mine from now on. No.
Is Jonathan dialed in right now?
Business is a lot like a guitar. When played right, it's a beautiful thing. Time to start taking the lessons needed.
That's Rick Pino.
I got you. That's me. And guess what? It was the one I wrote in this episode. I feel like I'm going to make a new one right now. I'm not even going to tell you. I literally looked at a guitar in front of me and I said, business is a lot like that. And I wrote,
hold on. Y'all, I'm sorry. Jonathan, you have a gift. I don't know why I'm turning into Professor Xavier right now.
Yeah.
But what are you still doing hosting a podcast?
Here's the thing. First of all, I'm the host of a successful video series.
Tomato.
Business is a lot like a video series. It shows its face in many different ways. The question is, will you recognize it? You know, that's what I say.
My friend Jonathan is dropping hashtag truth bombs.
Here's one for you. Money is not wealth. Money is a measurement of wealth, but money itself is not wealth. My definition of wealth is the ability to provide value for someone other than yourself in return provides abundant options for you. What do you think wealth is?
That's Rick Pino.
That's me. Just kidding. That's Rick Pino. And I made you scared for a second, didn't I?
Let me ask you this. What defines a good quote?
I mean, I hope it's not based on likes because that one has one. The one that has the most likes that I've seen is 28 likes, and it says rule number 1 equals never make God number 2.
Hold that thought. You got bumper stickers. I'm seeing an embroidered patch.
There's one nice cyan blue t-shirt that we could have snagged. Shama, I'm going to close us with one final thing. I want to hear you about this.
I swear if it's another golden Jonathan Wright quote.
It's not a quote. Business is a lot like a quote, though. Sometimes when you speak it, it works just right.
Like you got bit by Rick Pino. You turn it into Spider-Man. I'm watching you crawl on walls for the first time.
It's like a reverse Spider-Man. I got bit by something and it took away an ability to get any likes on anything I post. There are reviews out there for Rick's business coaching. Better Business Bureau, he has a perfect D+ rating. Okay.
Calling it perfect is crazy. Like, what is Papa John's rating? Like, I just want to know.
Papa John's has a D- from what I'm seeing. So he just grazed the top of the Papa John's as he flew past it.
Does it say why? Does it say why?
Yeah.
Get Wisdom?
Get a D+, you know?
Wow.
Found on Reddit where someone asked, they were like, hey, should I get the Rick Pino course? The reason this one grabbed my attention is every subreddit that Rick Pino was brought up in, this person was like making sure to copy and paste their own message and their own experience. For legal purposes, this is allegedly something that happened. If you're considering purchasing a course to teach you how to create and sell a digital product, whatever you do, don't buy the Digital Product Academy from Rick Pino. He's a well-known former worship leader. We learned this the hard way. And maybe you don't have to if you read this. First of all, I'm like, maybe the marketing worked for you because what a catch at the front.
We learned this the hard way.
They said first, the salesperson was not transparent with us and the real commitment that this would be. He provided some general comments about the course, but no specifics. So first of all, he has salesmen. How weird is that? Before committing, the salesperson asked if we had any other questions, but as real novices, which most of the people diving into this are, we did not even know what to begin to ask. It is this ignorance that allegedly Rick Pino relies on for profit. When we were in it, it was a little too late to back out, and we were overwhelmed with the reality that what we'd have to do to be successful is not what we thought. We would have to, for example, text several 100,000 of potential customers individually, no bots. Not all ideas, like my wife's and mine, individually lend themselves to digital marketing. Some do. To be successful, he said to get on social media several times a day, which is just not everyone's style. Next, there are no refunds.
All of this so far adds up to about a D+. This sounds accurate.
Yeah.
If you say no refunds, you're almost kind of preemptively going like, hey, people haven't been satisfied in the past. They've asked for a refund. I don't do that anymore, so I'm not doing any refunds anymore. Enough people have asked me for a refund. I'm not giving more refunds anymore.
Some other posts and tweets and Reddit stuff about this business is that people say that the claim that happens is when they ask for a refund, it's like, well, you didn't go through with the program. If you had gone through with the program, you would have the money and you'd be fine. That's allegedly what I'm finding.
I feel bad for the people that this works on. Yeah, continue reading, please.
No refunds means no refunds. Although we agreed to it, we later realized that it's actually necessary for him due to the fact that there is considerable buyer's remorse. We know this because there are only a handful of success stories discussed during the weekly online sessions, yet there are far more subscribers. Lastly, he claims to be a Christian, yet any Christian or non-Christian ethical business person would have exercised a refund even with half the money, which would have amounted for us to $3,000 at half. Yes, that's right. We paid $6,000, and that was the sale price, we were told. He says that this is his business and that he can do what he wants. So apparently, he does not want to help an unhappy customer. He would not negotiate with us at all and stayed hidden behind us, behind his gatekeeper and salespeople.
This is really sad.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, if it were true, I would be heartbroken. A couple months ago, we had a conversation about like being an ethical business owner. And I expressed some griefs and like some hangups that I had in the past. But could you imagine allegedly scamming people and then allegedly being on a call with those people every single week?
How do you wake up? How does a person roll out of bed and say, that was the right thing? Like, I'm fine. At least I got my payout.
If you didn't get wisdom, that is not our problem.
This Reddit post ends with, we were in a very vulnerable position at that time due to our struggles, and we really believed, based on the man's reputation as a worship leader in the Christian world, that we'd found a really good partner that would help us. We were wrong.
Well, hey, this has been this episode of the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. And when I start like a rant or something, I don't really know where I'm gonna go. I've also been on like a big, like, there's too much Christian merch. And when I started, I was like, there's too much merch, and it just sounded like a ramblings of a crazy man.
But Shama, if the church merch closes up, how will Goodwill stay in business? You know, that's what I'm saying.
My goodness.
I'm on fire today. It's a good day.
Also, listen, I'm gonna look at the camera. If you think what Jonathan said is wrong, go to a Goodwill right now. And if you don't see 50 church-related missions, VBS, youth group shirts, a baptism t-shirt, I go to 7 thrift stores a week, every single week. If I'm in town, I went to a thrift store today on the way here, okay? I got this microphone stand today at a thrift store. And you know what? I didn't even hold on.
What is that?
I didn't even take the price tag off, okay?
What'd you get that for? I can't even see it.
Whoa! I got a glass toaster yesterday. So I'm out here.
Yeah.
Why are we making hoodies? Who are we making hoodies for?
It's for the person making it half the time, right?
Yes!
Just like this show. No. No.
Jonathan Wright Vanity Podcast.
Thank you for doing this. This was splendid. We always have such a good time, sir.
This was amazing. I am so interested. I feel like I'm going to spend the rest of my day typing in random businesses on the Better Business Bureau website.
I looked you up earlier, and it was an A-.
What?
You know?
Jonathan, I love how your brain works, okay? What an incredible time. You know, you started off with, like, hey, we're going to read some Rick Pino, and I'll come up with some. And sadly, you came up with some bangers.
I go out to make it a challenge. You hear me?
This is such a great podcast to be on.
Yeah.
Hey, we're 2 guys with mics. We've got video. Come on, what are we doing?
The question is, you say 2 guys with mics is suddenly a podcast, but if I took the mics away, then it's like a silent film. And business is a lot like a silent film. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss something, you know?
Cut it.